think we are. I said as much at council meeting the other night. I think we are at in some places and very nearly at in other areas of the timing to be able to go ahead and form some subcommittees. And I think if we want to put that on the agenda for our next scheduled meeting, I think that would be entirely appropriate. Obviously, a facilities subcommittee wouldn't work at this point because we don't have the assessment. But
Would that
looking
be
at
part of that committee?
I'm sorry.
Would that be a part of their responsibility? If you have a facilities committee, could part of their responsibility have them do the building study?
Oh, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Obviously, we would need that information.
And I think the scope's pretty much ready, isn't it? To put out to bid?
Yes.
Or however you will do it. I'm not sure how that's going to happen.
The scope's in draft form. What I would suggest is engaging Trout and Saunders and have them tell you what you need to do in order to put together the plan. That's why you have the resource that was appropriated from the General Assembly to use. And I would suggest using them and have them identify the committees you need to have in place to develop what the General Assembly needs to see.
We've got to, I'm thinking, second week in February's crossover. We're pretty close to it. It's a 60-day session, and 30 days from yesterday is crossover. So you could take something to Appropriations Committee up until that point and ask for the money. It might not be the easiest way to do it, but it's not impossible. Yesterday was the first day of the session, and I'm sure people are all over the place trying to figure out who's on what committee and who's doing what. We better go ask for this money or that money. We better do this. We better do that. And they're making a lot of rapid decisions, maybe not with as much information as they need. And I don't know how all that's going to turn out, but this has not happened for 30, 40 years that we've had a completely Democratic controlled House and Senate in a long time. So they don't, it's new ground.
Absolutely.
We've got to be careful how we proceed, I think.
And I think that was the reason that Terry was so unsure of where we were going.
Oh, I understand.
And I think that Senator Deeds has made him feel a little bit more comfortable about asking for money, which it would have been nice if Senator Deeds would have come to us.
And with Senator Deeds making Terry comfortable, that's okay that if he hears him saying there's money out here, but Senator Deeds says we need to get some money in here to present some legislation. How does he know where we're at? I haven't seen him at the first meeting. I haven't communicated a word to him about what we're doing. I don't know if any of the rest of you've talked to him. So how does he know where we're at? He just, he's always said, I'll support whatever you want to do. How the heck does he even know what we're going to do? He's not talking to anybody. I don't mean to be throwing off on Senator. He's got good intentions a lot of the time. We don't always agree on some things, but I don't see where he has the information available to him through what we've done to decide we're ready to move forward. And that's.
But from speaking with Terry Alston earlier, it sounds like Senator Deeds is going to be there on Tuesday.
Good.
Or at least someone from his committee, but I mean from his office, but the staff. But we've invited Senator Deeds to some of these things and invite him to Richmond.
And that's, I understand he's got a big district, and that's, we're not a big player in his district. I understand that. But I'm not real comfortable with him all of a sudden being able to say, y'all need to do this when he hadn't been involved and doesn't know. I probably lost a friend tonight in Senator Deeds if he watches the Journal. That's the way I feel. I've been uncomfortable about this all day. I didn't think we were going in the right direction. I've told Jacob several times how I felt. I was ready to come in here tonight, and I can give you a convincing argument that we need to do this. It doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. I'm just giving you a convincing argument that we can do this.
Well, I think perception is everything. As far as We told people how things were going to be. We talked about it last week, and I know that's what's bothering Mr. Griffith and bothering all of us. I didn't expect this to happen. I didn't expect things to transpire the way they did this week. I mean, that's where we are.
Well, go ahead, I'm sorry, Matt.
I was just going to say, if there's a carrot out there dangling, I mean, I'm the first one to say, hey, let's take advantage of it. But I do agree that we've got to make a concise path to that carrot. It's got to be done the right way, and everybody's got to feel comfortable. And I think speed is one thing, and it's fantastic, but speed kills in some ways also. So I think we're to a point where I'm very comfortable, but there's still some other steps that we need to put in to.
So it sounds like that our committee feels like that we should hold off for right now. And as far as tomorrow goes, and we should probably talk about Tuesday and what we would like to see there, and our plan for that, and also the engagement of our legal team a little bit more, and we can discuss that as well.
Will you have time to go by there and see them Tuesday while you're there?
Yeah, we can get them to come. We can get a representative to come to Barry's office.
I'd like to say one more thing. A complete plan we've got to have a complete plan to sell itself to the community and to the state. And piecemealing it is maybe easy money, but it's not the right thing to do. It's not fair to the citizens. It's not fair to the board members. We were asked to put a complete plan together that they could use statewide. And I think we need to stay to that plan. Stay the course.
And when we started, though, we had the 3 objectives. And I think we know what governance plan we would like to use. We know what salary equalization and benefits equalization will amount to. We've talked some about funding. I think we can come up with a funding plan. We've got a couple good ideas. So we have those 3 things kind of set aside now. We don't need to deal with those anymore. So then, to me, the next step, as I've said before, is committees start to put together the rest of the plan. And if we went and had the legislation presented, we still have 17 months to put it together, because that money's not available to July 1, 2021. If you get it in the second year, that's the first time that money will be available. You can't get it before then. So in 17 months, you may be able to put together a plan. So that's an argument for going and having, doing the legislation. But I'm just not comfortable with throwing that out there yet. I'd like to see us get a little farther down the road, and then we'll need to start talking about now where do we need to go. And it's going to have to be a process where we may be halfway through with putting the whole plan together, but then we'll have to back up and start talking about, now we're going to need to ask for this much money. We're going to need to have this legislation put in place to create the school board. There's several things that will have to happen down the road, but I don't think anything has to happen tonight. And probably next Thursday we'll hear more from you about what you were told in Richmond and help us to make some more decisions.
And that's where Troutman Sanders comes in. They can be more help to us than we're using.
I would...
and also help us lobby across the finish line. And that's what the state gives us the money for.
To Tom's point, though, I think I would like to see us, if we can take the next week, I would like to see us come back to our next scheduled meeting with some ideas on those subcommittees and which ones we're ready to move with. I think there are at least a couple areas that we can begin that. As soon as we have the folks that are available to serve on that. And obviously, that would be contingent upon scheduling and things like that. But I think we're ready, at least in a few areas. So if we can come back in our next meeting and have some ideas and some discussion about that, I think that would be useful.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Someone did bring up the idea of talking in closed session about our attorneys.
Do you have thoughts on?
I don't know if we have to or not. That's a question, and we've already got them under contract, so is that a closed session topic, or?
What else I don't think it is. What are you speaking about?
Just
Further engagement?
Right, further engagement.
Further engagement. If you're contract negotiations, if you already have them engaged, it's probably an open session topic.
okay.
We don't have the strategic team engaged.
Do what?
We don't have the strategic team engaged. That's the different. That's more the lobbying side of things.
We need to engage them. We need, how do we go to,
That's what we need.
we need to go to further contract negotiation, I guess would be what that would be.
I would also think, you're talking about specs of different things, you could discuss it out here, but John, you might disagree on that.
No, you're right.
You can discuss your specs out here. The only time you really got to go into closed session if you're going to select who you're going to go,
Right.
look at individuals. So.
And it's only if the contract negotiations could be harmful to your position.
Right.
Right. So that's when you have the ability to go into closed session to discuss it.
So one of the things that we have spoken with Troutman Sanders with is they have a strategic team that is a lobbying branch, and so I'm kind of getting two different things here. There's no reason to even talk to them about that if we go with the idea of having to put together a complete plan before we talk to the General Assembly. If we are, yes, sir.
Do you want to engage in further services beyond the current scope? That's what you should do, is define what those services would be. Then you or a member of the committee or a designee can discuss that with Troutman and bring back a contract that then could potentially discuss in executive session at a later date. But you need to decide what those services that you would like them to provide will be, and then you could receive a revised contract from them, or an additional contract, an amended contract, and take that contract into closed session to discuss, because that could be a negotiation that's originally out in open session harmful to your position.
The issue would be time in that scenario with the meeting being on Tuesday. If you want to do it ASAP.
But if we're talking about having to put together a complete plan for proposing legislation, there's no reason to even talk to them.
Personally, I would be on the phone with them tomorrow, just helping them tell us what in addition we need, how they can ramp up to basic. They should be in the meeting Tuesday, I think.
We'll ask them if that's the board's, and after talking to Terry this evening, Troutman said talk to Terry. Terry said talk to Troutman. I mean, that's the way. I mean, they push it off on somebody else, and we have to pay for that by the hour on one side.
We'll get them all in the same room.
Yeah, and so we did have them all in the same room in July.
That was free.
And that was free. And they gave us a sandwich. But that's something that we need to discuss as a board if we're ready to start talking about negotiating with them about their strategic team. And I can find out more info from them, get us a outline, and maybe we can even have a presentation from the strategic team when we go on Tuesday.
I'm comfortable, if everybody else is, with us exploring that option, and then we'll cross that bridge as we get there. If it looks like it's something that we want to explore, then we'll go in that direction. But there's a lot about what they could offer that we still need to know. So.
And like Terry said to us this evening, he said that they can do a lot of running around that he and Craig can't necessarily do.
Well, they don't have time to in a 60-day session.
So with that being said, I'll call them first thing in the morning and inquire about the strategic team, and perhaps I'll email out to everyone what they sent us back, and then we can look at that and know something about that. Everyone can kind of look at that before our meeting on next Thursday. Mr. Griffith, you feel comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Mr. Franson? Mayor Simon?
I feel more comfortable if communication came from Senator Creed's office and also Mr. Delegate Austin's office, would come in some type of fax transmittal where we know where they stand from this point forward. Documentation, and not be jacked around. It's not fair.
Well, and that's one of the things, in talking to Delegate Austin's legislative aide, and compared to talking to Delegate Austin, it's kind of, there's some variance there.
But I mean,
and that's something that
3 months down the road, and they can say, well, we didn't talk about that. I don't want to be in that boat. Documentation.
Mayor Sidebold.
Where are we at? I agreed one time already.
Everybody's on board with talking to Troutman tomorrow, getting them signed up for the meeting on Tuesday, and getting us some information about the strategic team.
I think we need to be on board. If there's funding going to be available, I'm more comfortable taking our time and being more complete. If there's an issue of funding dissolving or lack of funding, that's the question. Then we're in a hurry up situation. But I think we just need to adapt to the situation. As of right now, I don't think it's a huge push. That may change. You never know what the landscape in Richmond is going to be, but I think we just need to plan to acclimate to whatever comes down the pipe, more or less.
You could have $1.5 million promised to you in the beginning of the next year, and something tragic happens in the country or in the state, that money's gone, and there we are right in the middle of what are we doing? We have to quit then. But the money's, it's there, but you never sure it's there.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons that they are both interested in putting something in the budget and earmarking that money for us, because they don't know that it will be available.
Right.
And that's one of the big rushes.
Wouldn't we be in a mess if we got the money in there and we got it the first time, and then the next 6 years when we need it, it ain't there?
Well, I don't know how that is, and how is something like that addressed with the state, John or Gene?
Well, the only I'll say is this, in the conversations that I've had since I've been here, is that I don't think they're going to go forward until all 4 boards say yes to it. That's the bottom line.
Right.
Okay, we can talk about everything else we want to,
Right.
but they aren't going to risk out. I do think the money's there once the 4 boards say move forward with it.
I
Okay,
agree.
and you can debate on all the little stuff that matters, but until there's a commitment from 4 boards, they're just not going to go forward. But the conversations that I've had with both the Department of Education and the Secretary of Education's office, Delegate Austin, Senator Deeds, and others, the money's there, but it's got to be a commitment from the 4 boards here. I know what Mr. Franklin said last meeting, what sense does it go forward until all 4 boards make a decision to go forward or not?
So are we all thinking that we need to, my thought process is that all 4 boards are in support of forming this committee and letting us see our, work on coming up with a plan. I feel like that's what everybody was on board with. So I kind of feel like until we have something else to present to the boards, I really don't feel like there's a reason to go back to the boards.
But at
And
some
that- and
point, it's going to be like in school. The teacher's going to say, "Let me see your work. Let me see what you've done to this point." And I think, we're almost there where we need to present what we've got. But I think you'll know more. I think Tuesday is a benefit because then you know what direction to go to finalize where we need to be, and that's what we can concentrate on to get it across the line. And I think after that, we're in a much better situation.
Everybody feel good?
Sure. Anybody else?
Entertain a motion to, no one else have anything else to say?
Nothing else.
Move
Make a
we
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Second. All in
Thank you very
favor?
much.